गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्।
Om Shri Sai Ram. Loving Sai Rams and blessed evening to all of you. With humility and reverence, I offer my most loving and reverential pranams at the divine lotus feet of my beloved Lord, Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. I am Harshita Suri from State Delhi, delighted to welcome all of you in today's session of the National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation, a program that blends spiritual insights with dynamic leadership. It is my great honor and privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker for today's session, Dr. Sai Golapudi, who is the member of the academic board of this program. He'll be guiding us on the topic goal setting. Sir grew up and pursued his education in some of the most prestigious schools of United States. He had a strong 15-year technical career in the telecom industry, having taken on critical roles such as software developer, architect, system tester, product marketer, and R&D head. On the management front, Dr. Golapudi has successfully built teams from the scratch. He worked for 10 years in multi-site environments where he managed multi-million-dollar budgets and projects, and even led sensitive processes like layoffs with great responsibility and foresight. His professional journey spans over 18 years, marked by excellence, innovation, and leadership. I'm glad to share that his strong work was published in journals and trade magazines, which were presented at international conferences and collaborated with large corporate customers, all while being recognized for his creativity and dedication. Currently, Dr. Sai Golapudi serves as the head of technology at Fortuna Pix Incorporation since 2018, where he is leading the development of digital publishing solutions in the K-12 education space. He is a very active Sevadal in the Shri Satya Sai Sevadal organization, embodying the values of Seva and Sadhana in both personal and professional life. We are truly blessed to have him with us today to share his insights and experiences that will surely inspire all of us on our own leadership and self-transformation journey. We welcome you, sir. Over to you. Thank you.
Sairam to all. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm now going to get into Zoom call. Let's see if we can be able to see my slides okay?
Yes, it's visible, sir.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, Sairam, and thank you to all of you. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to be back. And I know that we connect before, during, and after. That is, we met in Parthi, we meet during the sessions, and then again we meet at the convocation time. So it's kind of a privilege and a blessing for me to be part of this group where I connect with all of you. There's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be done. And what I'd like to do is get right into the program. Again, I ask
Sairam,
you.
sir.
Sairam.
Sorry to interrupt. We are getting a message in the chat box that your voice is little low, sir. Voice is
low.
Yeah.
Okay. Checking 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's see how can I do the mic. Are you able to hear me now? Is it better? Put a mic on.
A little low again.
Low. So could be audio, set the microphone. It's in the header. Let me see if I turn off the fan. Maybe it's picking up the fan a little bit. Just wait. All right. So are you able to hear me? Can you hear me okay? How's audio now?
Sairam sir, can you please bring your microphone little closer to your mouth?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, sir, it's perfect. Better.
Is it better?
Yes,
Better?
better, sir. Thank
Should
you.
I shout? Can you hear me better? Is that okay? So maybe I'll try to talk a little louder because I know that it's hard to hear. But again, keep telling me if it's not coming out okay. First of all, there's a whole bunch of stuff to cover, so I'm going to get right to it. But can you also remind me what time we need to close? 7:37 right now. What time do we close? 9 o'clock? 8:30?
Sir, maybe 9 or
Perfect. Okay. So anyway, so there's a whole bunch of stuff. You can see my slide, I take it. Type in a yes if you can see my slide. Goal setting, Swami's face, beautiful smile. Ah, okay, okay. Ambika says yes. Tanya says yes. Okay, good. So let's get started. First, the way we start all these programs is first we'll do a prayer for orienting our mind, our thought, our room, our environment. So the first thing we'll do is we'll do a prayer. We'll pray to Swami silently in your own minds and ask Swami to give ourselves focus, concentration, and ask Saraswati Ma to give us a lot of learning, growth, and overall success. Okay, just take a couple of seconds to invite all that into you. All right. Okay, let's get started. We've met before, but I just want to remind you that my background shapes how I present. I do have a PhD, which means I go deep, deep, deep into subject, and sometimes it might be annoying for some of you, but that's one of the things I do. I come from a technical background, so that means I get more engineering type, structured, math, numbers, diagrams. So this is another thing that's going to annoy you. I do have a lot of business background, meaning business means corporate background. So I'll try to use some corporate examples and try to link this back to corporates. I think that it's very important that we do that. And then I do have an international background, so that sometimes what happens is I get into an English accent that some people may have problem understanding. So you have to let me know. So that's my background shapes how I present, but I hope it's not a problem for all of us. So this is what we're going to do today. We're going to do a session on goal setting. Now, this session is slightly different from the rest of the sessions you've had till now. Till now, we focused on the adhyatmic, the spiritual aspects more. We focused on self transformation. We talked about Swami, maybe Atma, Paramatma, all that stuff. But right now, what we're getting into is business. We're talking about corporate, because this is indeed a leadership program, which also has components of the worldly business, corporate kind of thinking. So now we will have sessions on business topics. But unlike other programs, we're going to also mix the masala of spirituality into it. But I want to make sure that at the end of this session, you still have some interview questions that you can answer. And then there are topics that we talk about that are relevant in any MBA program. But we'll try to link this whole thing back to the adhyatmic values that we've learned from being in our own culture, with Swami, with Sai organization, with many things. So it's important that we link the two. So that's one of the things I want you to understand in today's session. Today's session is also about goal setting, which a lot of you feel like, you may already know goal setting. But, and I'm going to go into a little detail about this. And the goal setting, as you know, it's kind of direction setting. So we're going to be doing that right up the beginning. I want you to, I mean, there'll be a lot of material today. What I want you to do is at the end, feel like you get the idea of what we're trying to do. You don't have to be explicit about each instruction. There'll be a lot of detail. Don't worry about the detail. Try to get the general idea of what we're trying to accomplish here. At the end of the day, goal setting is a worldly tool, but we can also link it to spirituality and work with it from a spiritual point of view. But it's a worldly tool, and we are talking about from mechanics of it. But I want you to understand it at a higher level. What is the spirit of what we're trying to do, how we're going to use it, and how we're going to adopt it. So today's session is going to start with the why question. Why do we need goals? And then we're going to talk about individual goal setting, and then we're going to talk about how do you define these goals. There's something called SMART way. So we'll talk about this SMART way, and that's a typical corporate idea. What SMART is something they use in the world, corporate world all the time. So you're going to learn about SMART. Then for personal goal setting, we're going to talk about something called a goal wheel. And this is a very interesting idea. I think you're going to like this. It's a goal wheel that is useful for defining individual and personal goals. Then when you talk about corporate, there's a notion called pyramid, goal pyramid. So we're going to talk about the goal pyramid as well, and how it links to jobs, working in the corporate, how it fits into you. And then we're going to talk about a little bit about how do you track these goals, and finally, how do we link this with the spiritual idea. I think it's already linked most of the places, but at the end, we'll try to doubly enforce this and link it back. So that's the idea. That's what we're going to do. We're going to cover a lot of the why, the how, and the what behind the goals. And so let's get started. So let's get into the first idea of why goals. I want to open up the mics, and I want people to just jump in and tell us why you think we should have goals. What is their value? Why do you need goals?
To actually get motivate ourselves,
Okay.
and to get motivate ourselves, and keeping ambition will give more clarity about the life, like what
Okay.
we are going to do, what
Okay.
we have to do.
What's your name?
Aparna, sir.
Okay. Aparna says we got to, gives us clarity and, being clear about what to do. Okay, good.
We
Next,
can't
somebody.
To have a
we can't
purpose
do
in
the
life.
work that much efficiently if we don't have goals.
Okay, who's speaking?
Sairam's
Sai Priya, sir.
Cypria. Sorry, could you repeat what you just said, Cypria?
We can't complete that task without goals that much efficiently.
Okay. To increase efficiency, Cypria says we have to have goals. Tanya, you were going to say something. You had your hand raised.
Sairam sir. So the
Sairam.
thing is, don't have a focal point. Like even if we are doing any kind of breath work or we are doing any asana and yoga, you need a focal point, just like a tree pose. You need that point. So just like that, if you're not aware of what we have to focus, and we won't have a direct vision about it.
Okay.
We won't go ahead in life. So for focus and balance, I feel.
Okay. Focus and balance. The yoga terminology comes in. Very nice. So, and Divya.
Yeah, so only when we know, where we go, we can take the direction and we can achieve what we can. So without knowing where we go, it is always pointless.
Okay.
And
okay. Very nice. Very nice. Vaishnavi? Go ahead.
So I feel goals also have a motivational factor. Like once we achieve the goals, we can be we can reward ourselves. We can be happy. But if there are no goals, we will never be sure of how much progress we have made.
Okay, very nice motivation. Daita, Pragna.
Yeah, Sairam sir. So to have a purpose in life, first we need to have a meaningful life, and then the goals fall in place, is what I believe.
Okay. Be clear and rest shall follow. Okay, all right. So I think we're getting the idea of how goals help. I mean, it's quite clear that even if you want to book a cab right now, if you want to do Uber, you still have to tell where you're going. If you don't put the destination, they won't even let you book a cab. So, because they think it's silly. Why are you asking somebody to come to your house to pick you up if you don't know where you're going? So the simple app itself is telling us, hey, look, you need to know where you're going. And same thing with life. You really need to have clarity about what you're trying to do. You need to have focus as to what you're trying to do. You need to be motivated and to kind of scope and be in the area that you want to be in, right? To have discipline, said somebody. Saidi says, without goal, life is directionless. Yeah, exactly. Harshita says, give direction to our actions and constantly. So there's direction, satisfaction, goals provide, again, direction and purpose. So a lot of these comments are about direction, discipline, and focus. So this is excellent. And the idea is that definitely with no goals, no direction. But with goals, there's something to focus on. But now the point is, where do you focus on? Where are you focusing? Anyway, it's not just individuals, but companies also want to know where they're focusing. And so let's look into that. So first thing, we hear very often that, yeah, goals are very important. So we're getting deeper into this thing. Goals trigger habits. Goals increase our focus. They let us prioritize. They allow us to progress in life. They give us energy, and they align. And you'll see by the end of this thing that it really makes sense. These are not just statements, that they give us clarity and focus. So if you start looking into how they do this, in fact, corporates themselves have said that for their success, having goals was very important. And they say that without goals, they don't even know if they're successful. So it's very important even for companies to do this. But actually, it's not just the goal that makes you success. It's not the goal alone that gives you an outcome. What happens is there's an ecosystem that's forming, There's something that contributes to the goal. That's the planning process. The planning process, the tracking process, the setting process, all that, and your pursuit of the goal gives you success. It's not goal that gives you success. It's this ecosystem. It's this environment. It's the mindset that allows you to say, this is what I'm trying to pursue. This is why I need this. And then your commitment to it, your discipline to it, that's what is going to give you the success. So when you think about goal setting, now I want you to expand your mind. It's not just one statement. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an accountant. I want to finish my CA. It's not just a statement. It's the planning, the mindset, the discipline that you put into that to make it happen, to manifest it. That's really what makes it happen. If you don't put in the effort, just writing it down is not going to make anything happen. If you just think about it, it's not going to make it happen. So look into that. So now the question, very simple question. I would like you to type it in. Do you have goals? You, personally, do you have goals? Okay. Yes, says Sanya. Divya says, somebody was also pitching in online. Yes, Sairam, almost, wow. The Chakshu, Anush, Lakshmi, Ambika. Oh, it's just scrolling. Yes. Oh, my goodness. So many people are saying, yes, I'm so happy. And I can almost, by the yeses that I'm seeing, it's almost 90 or 100% of the people are saying, yes, this is great to hear that you have goals. Now the question is, are your goals written down? How many of you who said yes, write down if you have clearly written down your goals in life? Now I'm starting to see the no's. No. Divya says yes. Somebody else done. Oh, it's going so fast. I can't tell who's saying no, who's nay. But I am seeing some no's. Sucheta, I think she said yes. Sai Sirisha says no. Tamang, I think, says no. So, yeah. See, the thing is, somebody says partially. Yeah. Now, I mean, imagine you're saying I have goals, and I ask you, hey, show me, where is it? And they're like, wait a minute. I think it's here someplace. Well, let me write it down. Oh, it's in my head. That's not a goal. What are we talking about? We're talking about goals that are clear. That now, when we're talking about goals, are they written down is just the first question. The second question is, are they, meaning your goals, are they so evident that your friends and family can tell what your goal is? If suppose Aparna goes around, walking around, and she introduces us to her friends, can I ask her friends and say, can you tell me what are Aparna's goals? And if she's really living her goals, if she's really practicing her goals, they should be able to tell us. Now ask yourself this question. Are people around you able to tell us what your goals are? If not, are you really materializing them? Are you really living them? Can you really say you have the goal? So now start thinking, what is a goal? Goal is not just something that's floating in your idea and is, I wish to be a doctor. Arey bhai, everybody can think like that. Goal is actually an instrument of the mind. It's making you focus, you said. It's making you disciplined, it said. How can you get discipline and focus without putting effort? So now when we talk about goal, I want you to see the weight of it. Goal is actually an activity. Goal is actually a stuff that you're doing in your head. It's making you do something and bringing you focus first here. Be clear and rest shall follow. So how do you bring in clarity? You set a goal. But setting clarity and then putting the goal itself is a trigger. And that trigger then starts the process. So don't tell yourself that you have a goal unless it's written down, unless people around you know it, unless you're living and breathing some of these activities. Then only you can say, I have goals, that you're working with goals. All right. So now I want you to kind of readjust and how much it takes. Do you have a plan? Do you have a methodology? Do you have a way of achieving them? Are you committed to them? Do you have a timeline? Are you going after them? This is what it takes. And that's the goal we're talking about here. That's the goal definition that we're talking about here. Now, in corporate, they use this term called SMART. And these SMART goals are very, very popular. And it's a very simple idea. A lot of people, when they say they have a goal, they have things like this. I want to finish my MBA. See, that's my goal. I want to be an owner of a business. That's a goal. Well, the way we're going to define it, that's just a vague aspiration and a wish list. We want to define it further and further. We want to make it realizable. Right? So what we're talking about is not vague aspirations, right? Sri Ramya says, wow, Dr. Sri Ramya says, yeah, she's defined what SMART is. And that's what we're going to get into right now. But the whole idea is we're trying to take vague ideas that we have in our heads. Like, I want to be an artist. That's a vague idea. We need to turn it into a realizable material thing that we can work with. And that's what SMART is going to make it happen, right? SMART is one technique. And then we're going to get into deeper into this. So what we need to do is turn it into effective, meaningful, doable things. Now, SMART is just like Sri Ramya says, Dr. Sri Ramya says, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So, Sri Ramya, please, can you tell us what does it mean to be specific? What is, I mean, you defined it well. Can you explain what this slide is?
So it's about trying to make it more specific. Like, as you said, maybe personally, it's not about being just any doctor. Like, when I started, I specifically wanted to do MD in general medicine and I wanted to do in a specific place. So I need to be able to concentrate my efforts towards that specific exam that helps me to study the specific syllabus. Unless I do that, I'm going to, lose all my time and energy into doing something that won't help me to achieve the goals. So that is specific.
Yeah. I mean,
that's it.
Very well put. Very well put. So the whole idea is, this is just a tool, by the way. This is not the limit, right? This is just a tool. So you can be smarty, smart wise, smart, you can add more letters if you want. But the whole idea is, if you have a vague goal, then how do you turn it into very concrete idea? They're saying you try to be SMART. What is this SMART? Like Sri Ramya says, be very specific. Don't just say, I want to be a doctor. Do you want to be an Ayurvedic doctor, veterinary doctor, or a human doctor, first of all? Second of all, in being a doctor, is MBBS adequate or MD required? In doing this, do you want to do general medicine or do you want to do super specialty later on? Or do you want to go to UK and do something else? So the whole idea is, be specific. The first point they're saying. So take your vague idea, put it through this process. Is it specific? Then the second thing they're saying is, suppose you say that I want to be a doctor. How do you know you're a doctor? measurable. They're saying measurable. In this case, let's use Ramya's example. Measurable means I want to get my MBBS degree by. See, MBBS degree is measurable. How do you know she's a doctor? She has a license to practice. If she has a license to practice in Karnataka state by such and such a time, excuse me, then we know she's a doctor. Otherwise, I don't know if she's a doctor. Who knows she's a doctor? Right? So is it measurable? Yeah, I think that's measurable because we can check to see if she's got an MBBS. So that's why your goal should say, I want to finish my MBBS by. That's so specific and measurable has come in. Then achievable. Is it doable? Now, she's doing MPC, and if she's in 6th grade, it's not going to be achievable now. Or, and then if you want to, if the other thing is it relevant? So sometimes we have goals that don't fit us, right? I want world peace and other things. That's great stuff, but it's not in the context and the operational space that I'm in. It's not in the circle of influence that I can make. So these things, if you start asking yourself, is my vague idea having enough specificity, enough measurable items, enough achievable, enough time, time-bound factors? If I put all these factors in, the fuzzy big idea that I want to be an artist will become more and more crisper and clear. And you'll see this. Like, for example, I take this example on this, which is a level 1. I call it a vague goal. I want to be my own business. I want to own my own business. Now, we've heard a lot of people say this, and I'm sure a lot of you have this goal, right? So I want to own my own business. Now, how do you become specific? Well, tell us what business you want to do. What does it mean to own it? Right? And then next thing is, where do you want to do this? Right? So you need to start looking at the idea. So if you take to the second iteration, now you're going to see that you can be more specific. I tried to add the element of specificity. So I want to run, now not just own, I want to run my own business. So I want it to be a single proprietor mobile repair shop. So it's not a partnership. It's not with somebody else. I want to do a mobile repair shop. So I'm clear on what the business is. But still, there are other things I can add to this. And the smart things are, you can add something about time, you can add. So I want to hear from some of you, what else can I do to make it more and more clear? So I took the vague goal, number 1, I want to be owning my own business. Try to apply SMART to it and see if any of these components will make it more and more concrete. Anyone? Can you go ahead and add to this? All right. By December, says Tejaswini. That's right. Tejaswini Guram says, I want to run my own business, my mobile shop by December. Oh, that's a good idea. So, and Priyanka Agrawal says, in a specific area. Very good. So I want to run my own single proprietor mobile shop by December in, Chandni Chowk. Yeah, another one. Vaishnavi says, hit this much revenue by Q1. So it's like saying, I want to run my own single proprietor mobile shop, which is profitable, meaning I want to be able to make this much money by such and such a date in this Chandni Chowk area. So, and then the other, Priyanka Agrawal says, I want to work only with Android phones or iOS, so Apple phones. So now you start seeing how smart is SMART trying to make this vagueness more and more concrete. Let's see how it looks on the screen here. So I added a few more things. So now I added the time element. I said by end of year 2025, I want to be running my own mobile repair shop on MG Road, right? And then now I start to add more and more detail. Now look at this. The more I start adding details, look at what has happened. I started getting a lot of clarity, a lot of tasks. Now here, let me read some of this. By end of year 2025, I want to be running my own mobile repair shop on MG Road. For this, I need to finish my current, mobile repair training course by August 2025. And I will work with a friend and work in a friend with his mobile repair shop for 6 months in Pune to get trained. Then on top of that, I'll take the 2 lakh savings that I have in the SBI and put it in this. And then I'm going to get the parts for the shop from this furniture shop, which has, secondhand furniture. Look at what's happening. by the time I try drill, I'm getting a lot of clarity, and my fuzziness is starting to evaporate, and I'm getting a lot of clarity. This is the clarity which is going to give you first the mental idea as to what you're going to do and how you're going to do this. And if you stick to each of these things, and if you start doing it now, then success will come. That's what I mean by goal is not just writing it down, saying I want to own my own business. The goal is planning, the elaborate drilling down, the idea of making it visual in your mind, and then coming down and achieving this in a discipline. That's what's going to give you the success. That's the process of how you make a goal a reality. All right. Is this making sense, guys? You can say yes on the chat. Yes. Okay. A lot of people. Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you. Thank you, Pallavi. All right. So now I put this here. Somebody was asking me this question. How do I, what is specific? I think you can Google this. It's not something I want to type and get into details, but I think you get the idea. The spirit of it is you got to get into detail. You take the idea of, am I being very, very specific, narrow, niche, right? And then the second thing is how measurable, how time related, how related to me is it, and all these concrete ideas. If you start putting, you'll take one goal and turn it into maybe 15 goals, but at the end of the day you'll have clarity on what you're trying to achieve. And that's the idea. So the first tool I want to introduce you to is SMART. And SMART is something people ask you in an interview. Try to work with it, and then as you do the homework on these things, you'll try to apply this, and then you'll see how this works. So now let's apply this SMART idea onto individual goal setting. Now, individual goals. Now, why am I talking about individual goals? First of all, you are now at an age where you can plan and design and lead the life that you design for yourself. You're in an age where nobody has to tell you what to do. You can tell yourself what to do. You can define and shape what you want to achieve. Suppose you're building a house. If you do not have a blueprint, if you do not have the what do you call elevation image, and if you don't have an idea what you're doing, you're not going to get a house. You're just going to get a whole bunch of construction. But if you do have a design, and if you do really know what you're trying to do, then chances are you will achieve most of what you put in the blueprint. The same is true with your own lives. The same is true with yourselves. When we're talking about a leadership program, you have to understand what is it that you're trying to accomplish as an individual. What is it that you're trying to manifest as a human being, as a person who's occupying at least, I don't know, 1 foot by 1 foot space when you stand on the ground on earth? Why are you here on this earth? If you're here for 80, 90 years, why are you here for 80, 90 years using up the oxygen, cutting down trees, staying in some sort of 3-bedroom apartment someplace? Why are you here? What is your purpose? Where are you going? What Uber taxi are you taking? And kidhar jana hai aapko? Ye clarity nahi hai to, if you do not have that clarity, where are you going to go? That's the whole idea behind goal setting. You gotta have that vision and clarity. And so now what we said is, one goal is not going to give you clarity. You can't say, I want to be a doctor, and these goals are time bound, right? So after that, then what? So these goal wheels, what they're trying to tell you is, look, you can look at multiple dimensions in your life. The idea is, if you look at this like a pie, like a pizza, then you can cut slices from this. And then you can look at goals for your social life, goals for your financials, for your academic, for your environment. These are pictures I picked up from Google. You can see some people talking about health, work, social on the right side, family. Now, what they're saying is, in your design of yourself, choose certain areas on which you want to focus on. And in those areas, write down specific targets for yourself, goals for yourself. And as you progress through life, then what you do is, let's say every birthday, one day before your birthday, sit down and see how are you doing this year? what do you want to do next year? Every birthday, you can actually start putting down a goal chart for yourself and reviewing it, and start not just on the birthday, but birthday is when you try to make the new design for the next year, right? So this is you designing yourself. Now, in each area, like whether it's family or life or health or work, you can have more than one goal. The goal is just a category. Work is just a category. So maybe you want to get certification. Maybe you want to go to college. Maybe you want to get tuition. Maybe you want to get work. So you need to put all those things as goals under the category of work. And you can say, I want to do this in the next 3 months, or I want to do it in this whole year. This is where my time is going to go. So if you start doing that as a whole on all these elements, you start shaping yourself. And that's what we're going to get focused on now. Because these are stuff that I found in Google, but we don't need to stick to this. We can shape our own. And this goal wheel, his idea is to say that I'm going to go 360 in my life, not just focus only on work, not just focus only on family, but I'm going to focus on many things. That's the idea. So I want to introduce a goal wheel for ourselves here. Then I also want to tell you that goals are not just single area of focus. It's multidimensional. You are a human being who has a family. You have a human being who has work life. You have a human being who has a school life. And then you have friends, and you have your own personal interests like music. So you need to know in which dimension you want to grow, how much you want to grow, what all you want to accomplish. If you don't have that clear in your head, you cannot follow this as an activity. So that's the idea. So you got to identify these areas, and for each, you need to go. And then once you have this, now, what's clever about this, if you look at this chart on the right side, it's like a polar diagram, they call it. So you draw this out, write down all these dimensions on the right side, and at the end of your year, birthday, just before your birthday, you can see out of the 7 goals you had, like let's say you wanted to get 3 certifications, and you only got 2. So you mark 2. So it goes only a little bit to the right. And for the area where you wanted to, physical fitness, maybe you wanted to do exercise, and you wanted to do yoga, and then you wanted to do some wellness training. So you did all of them. So you show more on that dimension. So now look at the chart. The chart is showing you how circle full it is. If you start seeing lopsided, right? Somebody here has less money than what they planned. Somebody here has a personal life. That means, I guess, they had a plan to get married this year, and it didn't happen. But they did quite well with friends and family. So they're happy with that. But there's a whole bunch of stuff they want to accomplish in career. So this whole chart is actually giving them a feel of how rounded and well-developed the year has become. So this is a very clever way of doing this. All right. Now, the whole idea is you want to design your own personality. And so for that, this is the goal wheel I'm going to show you. I'm going to walk through this goal wheel for a few minutes, so you don't have to study this whole thing in one shot. But it's a very complex looking, but it's not so complex. The middle is you. The middle is, by you, I mean your role in this life, why you exist, your responsibility to the world, your social, your dharmic responsibility. That's you in the center. Then all these areas, I've kind of tried to fit it in with Swami's teachings and other things included. And so on the right side, first let me explain this, and then I'll tell you what's on the right and left. First thing is, I have put 8 dimensions in the pie, right? And then I've put colors. So the center blue color is the category or the dimension. Then you keep writing goals in that dimension. So there are 8 dimensions. And in each dimensions, you write a goal, and then you write sub goals, and then sub goals, and then maybe finally last minute tasks you write. So you can keep adding these things. So that's what this is. So the circle keeps growing bigger, and then you can expand and write more things. And so if you look at the circle, just now look at the right-hand part of the circle. What I've done is I've looked at few of the categories that I think Swami would like us to focus on. And then the first one that I chose to put in their category. And by the way, this whole thing is invented. This is not set in stone. This is not given by Swami. It's not a vision I got from, 10 commandments or something like that. Nothing like that. You can make your own. But I thought this would be helpful for us youth after kind of considering a lot of the things that we have. So the first thing that Swami always talks about, character. So I put that first. I said, you should have some goals for yourself as you're designing your own self. What are your character goals? Right? So now each one has different definitions. If you don't have a proper definition, go talk to your Balvikas teacher, go talk to your mom, go talk to your grandmother. Find out what kind of character you should have. You should have, not just general human should have, but you, Harshita, what character should you have? What is a character that Sai Pushpa should have? What is a character that Swati Sharma should have? So you should have a particular thing that somebody is telling you to have, that you can start putting there. How are they telling you to develop yourself as a character, thing? Then the other thing that I put down is a national character as well. So character, sadhana, family and elders, social responsibility. These are some of the things that are on the right side. And then, so when we talk about sadhana, this is Swami is always saying, focus on your character, and then you have a purpose why you're here. That's the sadhana. You have to execute it. And that's the part I looked at. And the family and elders is giving you a sense of purpose, and then you show the gratitude towards parents, gratitude towards the family that you have around you. So it's very important that you look at those factors also. All these factors constitute a well-rounded human being. So that's why I showed character, sadhana, family elders, and social responsibility as categories on the right side. And then on the left side, I made it more personal. And in the personal, there are certain skills you need to develop. Maybe you're going to be an artist, so learn painting and drawing and maybe some CAD and other computer-aided drawing stuff. Maybe you want to develop some talents, some of us are so busy with school and work life that we forget to develop our creativity. Maybe I want to write poetry. Maybe I'm good at speaking, maybe singing. So you should develop that, a sense of aesthetic, because well-rounded people should have all these personalities in you, all these factors in you. So you should have some nice multidisciplinary thing going on. Swami always likes, students to be able to stand up and speak, to be able to sing in Kulwant, to be able to play an instrument, to be able to drive a car. He says, youth should be able to drive, swim, and Gita. Gita, and something else he said, and swimming. So even in some discussion, he was saying this. He was saying that youth should know how to drive a car. And right now, you should not be so dependent and worried and tense and other things. How are you going to go from place to place if you don't know how to drive a car? So better learn to drive a car. Better learn how to ride a bike. You should be independent. Not just for yourself. Tomorrow, are kisko lift dena bhai? You have to pick up somebody and drop off. How are you going to do this? Mom is going to pick up groceries. Who's going to drop her off? The dad has to go pay bills in some other place. He can't park. So he will not take the car. So what? You're going to make him walk? Have him sit in the back, take him out there, scooty में उधर drop कर दो, आप बाहर जाओ, आपका काम आप कर लो. You should know those things, na? So you should have certain things. If you're not stable, if you're not resourceful, if you don't have these skills, then tomorrow, how can you be a value to the entire community and world? This is what full rounded shaping of the personality is all about. And that's what we're trying to do here. So to be useful in the community, to have the skills, to convince somebody, you should have talent, to win over the emotional side, the human heart, you should have those things. And then now in these dimensions, let's write certain goals. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into what to write because you need to sit and do this exercise. But I'm trying to tell you how you do a design for your own personality. First, you must design yourself, meaning you should design your future. Don't let the future come upon you as a surprise. Design it. And when you're designing it, shape it in all dimensions. And all the dimensions that Swami talks about are very important. So that's why I chose some of these things. You can add, delete, put more things, but this is what the wheel looks like. And in this 360 of your life, to put this, I put it in an Excel sheet like this. It's a very simple idea. I took Excel sheet. On the left side, I put the category. You can put the 8 categories or more if you like. And then I started drilling down. And when I drill down, I write one or more goals or sub goals or drill downs. So this is what I did. If you look at the first one, I took a very simple example of character. I said, okay, character mein, what is my vision for this year? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I should be an honest person, God-loving, hardworking, sincere individual. If I'm that kind of person, maybe people will think I'm a person of good character. Okay, this year I'm going to work on that. Well, that's not a bad idea. Write it down, but it's too vague. So what do we do with a vague goal? How do we make it clear and concrete? Smart it.
By
Yeah, make it smart.
adding the smart.
Yes, who said that?
So Tanya.
Tanya. So that's it. So make it smart. Sai Prashanti says, make it smart. Sahidi says, smart guide. Exactly. And that's what we do. So then you start putting, first thing that comes to me, maybe I'm in a government sector. Oh my God, I should be known as person who doesn't take bribes. And not only this, some people have this habit, of demotivating whomever they talk to. Like if somebody tells something, they'll say, yeah, but let me tell you what the problem is. Yeah, but you know what the problem is. If you start doing this now, you'll pull everybody down. So maybe don't be so negative. Maybe you should be a little bit more positive. Yeah, let's do it. Maybe there's some things we'll need to learn, but that's okay. Let's try it. If you start showing the energy and if you start doing that positivity, maybe people like seeing that around you. Change shapes who you are and you're seen as a good positive person. And people like to hang around people who are positive or uplifting, not depressing and sad. So that's the idea. So if you start putting these things down, then so look at what I've done. I've taken the word character and I made it personal. I said, what does character to mean to me right now in this time and space for the next 365 days? If that's the duration you want to check. Then how does that translate into a goal, sub goal, and how many such goals, and finally end up in a task? So in this case, I said, the goal could be that I should visit temple every month. At least once a month, I want to go to the temple. And then maybe I should listen to Swami's speech every week, maybe once a week. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Why don't I listen to Ramayana Pravachan this summer? This whole summer, I have a few weeks off. Maybe I'll go through a Pravachan about the whole Ramayana because I've never heard Ramayana in its entirety. So maybe it'll be good to hear that. Maybe that'll give me a little bit more adhyatmic thinking. So like that, I start putting these goals down. You see what I've done? I've taken the idea of character and tried to personalize it and slowly make it adhyatmic, maybe going deeper. And then it turns into tasks. Oh, that means I have to go pick up these CDs, that Pravachan CDs that are with my friends in my friend's place, and then go through that as I drive to work every day. I can listen to the CD, something like that, or download some YouTubes or something, or sign up to a podcast. It's up to you. But the whole idea is you really need to turn it into actions. And as you start drilling it down, the whole idea of what is character and how it needs to manifest for Priyanka this year will be clear before the birthday is over. And then the whole year she can work on it. That's the idea. Right? So Vaidehi, are you okay with this? You said make it smart. Are you able to link this character with this thing? Ambika, are you able to link it? Tejaswini, I'm seeing names. I'd like to see I'd like to see if you can, is it making sense? The goal and how you can put it together and how you can develop it. Because I'm not going to be sitting here and writing goals for you. I'll tell you how you should do that. You should take a book, put down the eight categories that you want, or 9, or whatever you want to do. Sit down in some quiet place like a temple, masjid, mosque, wherever. You want to sit in some place and quietly start writing what I want to do. How do I want to design myself? And slowly keep that nice sitar music going on in the side round. Do that, and then it'll work. Beautifully, it'll come. Nice incense sticks, lamp on the stove, diya, beautiful breeze. Ye ho jayega. That's how it's done. That's how you shape it. You have to be conscious. You have to be clear in what you're trying to do. Okay. Now, when we talk about character, why did I pick character? Swami talks about Vyakti Shila. He talks about this human values all the time. And few things you need to know. Look at human values. Do you need to work on some of the human values in exhibiting some of that? Is how are you doing with honesty, dharma, practice of dharma, God centricity? How are your ethics? How are people seeing you? You focus on those little bits and then start tuning it. So if you start tuning yourself a little bit and focusing that, it's sort of like decorating your room. Pile then, you'll get a small flower and you put it in a room. Next day, you'll get a agarbatti stand and put some. Then third day, you'll put a poster. So each day you do that. Now, one day your room will look very beautiful. So goals are like that. You start putting each one and slowly start adding. You'll design your personality like that. So now Swami is talking about human value. He talks so much about honesty and Satya Harishchandra's story. He talks about Rama as a great example of how to live a dharmic life. So if you really want to get some good goals on how to live a life full of some of these things, now look up Ramayana. Ramayana is really good with all these things. And then the other things that he talks about, Swami talks about, is how we dress, how we speak, how we appear to others. These are very important. Nowadays, I tell you, I don't know. I mean, I guess this is the Mahila program, right? So, a lot of people think drugs are bad, right? I'm talking about narcotics. But the other day, I went to my friend's place, and they're actually coming from US or something, and they had their suitcase open, and the wife and daughter had all the cosmetics on that suitcase. अरे बाप रे, एक लिपस्टिक, एक शैम्पू, एक मास्कारा, उसके ऊपर ये वो, and they're putting so much drugs on their face, your skin, so much is going on. That's also drug consumption. You know that? Meaning, my point is not don't put makeup and don't look pretty. My point simply is that try to think about what you're doing. Don't just act. Swami is saying, how do you dress? How do you dress in public? Swami's point is, when you dress, you should dress for respect, not for look, not for show. Respect. That means when you walk, somebody should look and say, excuse me, sir, can I ask you a question? They should not say, hey, tu idra. They should not say that. Or Swami is in his example, he says some people dress so colorfully and so flamboyant that even kutte, when they see this person in the street, they look at this, go, oh! They run away. So, kya janwar aa gaya hai? Itna colorful animal I've never seen. So that's what Swami says. So be very careful how you dress, how you present yourself. Second thing, speech. Swami is also talking about that. He talks about how you must speak. It seems when Krishna used to speak in his household, all the gopikas used to come and peek through the window and listen to him. And they would listen at how lovingly he would speak in the house, and they would go to samadhi. Just listening him to say, like you should have seen me say, Mom, I don't want to eat this upma. No person out the window is going to go into samadhi when they hear me speak like that. But Krishna, I'm sure when he spoke like that, people were like, oh my God, can human beings speak like that? That's how lovingly they spoke. Are Bapri, when he took the bansuri out, the cows used to come and go, I want to hear this. And not only that, the stones used to go like this. They were like listening to it. That's how much love came out and poured out of him. Right? That's how you should speak. It should create that environment and that ecosystem of such positivity, such energy, such gyan, that when they listen, they should go, Arey baap re, this is where I need to sit today. That's how you should feel. So these are the type of goals you should set for yourself. And look for how it is done. And how did Krishna do it? How did Rama do it? How can I do it? Those are the goals you can set. Like that, you should start setting goals for yourself. The other one I want to talk about is national. I'm not going to go to all the 8. I'm just giving you some examples. The national character, Jatishil. Vyaktishil, we talked about. Jatishil. Swami talks about individual character and national character together make an ideal leader. That's why I put those two in the right-hand side. So in the fourth one, we talked about national character. Again, he talks about Rama a lot. He talks about what is the sloka he talks about. He talks about how he's fond of his motherland and how he wants to go back, even though he has a chance to stay in Lanka. He talks about how he has to go back to his motherland, and that feeling of motherland that he has. So what does that mean to you and me? Well, I mean, one of the things is, I remember when my kids were growing up, when it was voting day, and we used to see huge crowds of people staying out there to vote. one thing, I felt really good. I'm living in one of the biggest democracies in the world. And I need to celebrate that. So quickly we would come in the house, we would put a lot of ice and make lassi, majiga and all that stuff, the buttermilk. And then we would take it out in glasses, my kids, and we used to go out and then give out glasses to people who were standing in queue. And we said, come, drink, have nice lassi while you're waiting for voting. Be part of that national movement. Swami used to write political songs. I'm not saying get into politics. Swami is not into politics. But the point I'm trying to say is feel for your community. If you're going by and a tap is khulla, band kar do usko. Kyunki water waste kyun karna hai? If you're eating don't throw away the rice, because you know how much water it took to make that rice, and you know how much a farmer had to work. You know how many bags of things people had to carry. Arey, let me tell you one thing, yaar. I see this also in Parthi. After they take the food from the prasadam plate and other things, they kind of throw away some stuff. Let me tell you something. There is a person out there in Ooty someplace who says that my cabbage is going to go to Swami this year. He is praying that Swami, please take the cabbage I'm growing. I want to donate it. So he is sending it with thoughts of love, and he's growing it, and he picks his cabbage saying, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. You know how the cabbage is coming? There is a Sevadal who's loading it in a truck. You know what the Sevadal is saying? He's saying Sai Ram, Sai Ram, and is putting it in the truck. And the driver, he's putting bhajans when he's coming to Parthi from Ooty and all. Once it comes, Sevadal is unpacking it. They're saying Sai Ram, and unloading the bags. We've done it. We know how it's done. Then there are ladies cutting it. They're cutting it with bhajans. You've seen that. You've been to South Canteen. You know how it goes. All the ladies, North Canteen mein chapati. They're singing Swami's bhajans and they're doing this. That cabbage gets cut with bhajans. Then the cook who's cooking, the Sevadal who's serving, everybody says Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. By that time, a bit of cabbage hits your plate, it has gone through at least 108 Sai Rams. And you're throwing that away? Can you imagine the power that is there? That is what is happening to the grain of rice. The farmer has grown with so much stuff. He's taken a loan. He's put something, and then he's then put it in with so much water. And then pura consumption aap tak aaya. Then, don't waste it. Be that sensitive about the world and the ecosystem that we're living in. That's what the national character is all about. Are you kind of getting it? I'm kind of getting a little bit mixing spirituality with this goal setting. But my idea is, if you want to be a whole, nice, well-rounded human being you have to focus on all these aspects and then slowly design yourself. But then, we are not just talking about individual goals. So we'll be getting into more things. But here I talk about social responsibilities. Social responsibilities mein seva karna hai. Swami always talks about seva. Put a day for yourself for doing seva. And if you do seva, it's not the same crowd in the school or office that you see all the time. You'll see a sevadal, you'll see a beneficiary, you'll see an auntie, you'll see an uncle working, and you'll start getting inspired. You'll start realizing how humble people are, how needy some people are. So there is so much that is going on in shaping who you are. So add these additional components to your life and start setting those goals. And in the sadhana, be deliberate. Aaj nahi main, ye nahi kiya. So one of the things I was trying to do Rudram. Swami said Rudram every day. And sometimes it was difficult for me to do it in the morning because there was so much going on in the morning. Then my wife gave me a license. She said, Arey, Rudram, Shiva, he doesn't mind all this Suddhi Giddhi and all that stuff. So you can do it at night also. He's okay with night. I said, Arey, freedom, I can do it at night. So I said, din mein ek baar karna hai, either morning or night or something, I have to do this. So then I started trying at least sometime in the day, I'll try to do it. Then mornings when it was difficult, I started doing it in the evenings. Then in the evenings, guests started coming in. And then people sometimes, visitors come in. Then I said, okay, let them, after they leave, I'll do. Sometimes it is 10 or 11, they're going home. Then I'm doing it at night there. And slowly I started doing this. Then I realized, aaj thak gaya main. Then today I don't want to do it. Then I said, but for whose sake am I doing? Mere liye hai na. Then I said, but I'm thak gaya na. Swami, you'll understand. What if I just do, the first anuvakam and leave it at that? Then I said, but for my sake, he's saying. अरे टैबलेट मेरे हेल्थ के लिए है ना, तो let me try it. Like this, I started deliberately pushing myself and started pressuring myself in doing this. And I started doing. Now it has become that, after this time, he'll just go into this corner and do it and come back. Now, I'm not a great chanter in Vedic Rudrap chanting and other things, and I'm not by heart 100%. And I have my own flaws. But I say, it doesn't matter, yaar. मेरे को तो एक discipline सीखना है. तो discipline जब तक नहीं आया, I'll try to do it. Then one day I'll focus on chanting, pronunciation. Another day I'll get into deep understanding. Another day I'll focus on this. But that whole rigor will come slowly, one after the other. But deliberately trying to do that is really what the sadhana is all about. So that's what this sadhana. And then Swami, the other thing is, he's saying that, I know you have to do corporate, I know you have to go to school, I know you have to do, doctor banna hai, ye pura karna hai. Magar, he says, Swami says, like the mother who's got a big pot of water on her head and she's walking down the stream, you know how those old village people, they put a huge pot on their head and they're walking, and then they have a kid in their hands. And the mother, as she's walking, no matter what happens, if it's up and down or something, the pot on her head is all well balanced. And the kid cries, puts her down, take the kid, get the kid a chocolate, but still the pot is on the head. Right? So Swami is saying Atma Dharma is like that. Your dharmic responsibility is like that. It's always on your head, you keep doing it. And all the stuff is going on the side. Arey, wo bhi kar lo yaar, magar ye to bhulo mat. So he is saying, be very deliberate, focus on your dharma, because you took in a birth to be in this earth to do these things. Na? Wo bhi kar lo aap. So that's the sadhana part. So like this, family and elders, you focus on this. Again, I don't want to belabor the point on what you need to do, but Swami always talks about, are you grateful and showing gratitude to your parents? He was actually very upset with one of the boys in one of the interviews. He said, "Parson kya kar rahe the aap?" And this boy was in Hyderabad. And he said, I don't know, Swami. Then he said, no, that day. Then he said, oh, that day, Swami, I went to Gram Seva. I said, हाँ, मगर उसके पहले क्या कर रहे थे आप? Then he said, I don't remember. Like this, Swami tried to focus him on some particular day, particular time. And then Swami said, you know what you were doing? And Swami was clear. Swami is in Parthi, but he's explaining what this boy was doing in Hyderabad. He was saying, you were riding the bike and you didn't even fully notice your mom was coming the opposite direction with bag full of groceries. And you were going on your bike happily. You're thinking you're doing Gram Seva. Arey bhai, your mom is coming in with a bag of vegetables. At least take the vegetables inside and put it and then go. What is your responsibility? Your mother is working so hard. What are you doing? So this is how he's training us, So there is a little bit of responsibility here. You should be grateful. If your father is, kind of going and paying the bills and other things, maybe you should do it online and save time for him. And then if mom is getting groceries, maybe, do in our house, we said, when I was growing up, I said, Fridays I'll cook. Mom ko chutti. So we tried that. That was a great chance for me to learn now interesting dishes and tried cooking. So like that, you have to pick up something, pick up responsibility, show gratitude, be part of the household as a productive contributing member. And that's why we should do it. So family and elders ka bhi goals hona chahiye. And then skill development mein, aajkal, if you don't know how to set up a website, if you don't know LinkedIn, if you don't know how to put a YouTube online, then you're not skilled. It doesn't matter if you want to be an artist, musician, chartered accountant or something. You need to have the skills. If you don't know, go get trained. एक ट्यूशन देने वाला बाजू में है, उससे ले सुन लो. Go sit with him and listen to this whole thing. Your skill needs to be developed. If you don't know what HTML looks like, aajkal you can't surf the net. Learn, read little bit about Gen AI. Chat GPT को सीख लो थोड़ा. Prompt engineering. You need to know these. You are living in today's age and you're saying you don't have the skill. So skill goals bhi likh lo, talent goals. You should know how to speak in front of somebody, to motivate, to enthuse somebody. You should have health and well-being in part of your goals. Career development as part of your goals. So ये पूरा आप एक 360 में लिख के ऐसा बैठ के उसको drill down करके year after year, if you start shaping this ना, then one day you will be a beautiful personality that people will like. That's how goals become a reality for you. It is goal, the ecosystem, the work, the planning, everything together makes it happen. Are you with me in this? Yeah? Can you tell me yes? If you understand it a little bit, just give me a yes. If you understand it a lot, give me 10S or 100S. Give me a number. How much you get it? Is this making sense? Let me see what you type. Arey, acha, ye ruk gaya kya mera? Oh, wait a minute. My chat stopped. Okay, go on. I'm seeing yes, yes. Oh. Ooh, somebody has. Who is that? Varsha says yes. Whole bunch of yes. Infinite yes. Oh, good, 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 good. Who was that? Akshata is saying that. Yes to the power of infinity. Harshita. Well, there you go. 1,000 or 10,000 yes for Ambika. Yes, thank you. 108%. Ooh, Lakshmi says 108%. Very nice. 100 yes, sir. Spandana. 100. Good, good, good. I like it. And that's what it is. You know, I mean, perfect. Perfect. I think we're getting it. Now we've done personal goal setting. We talked about SMART, we talked about goal wheel, and we talked not so much about the mechanics. Huh? Don't get stuck on what is SMART. Do that for the interview. Don't get stuck on what the goal wheel is, but use it as a tool to blossom your personality, to become a better you. The usage of it, the practicality of it is what I want to convince and communicate here. All right. So having said that, now let's get into the corporate side. Now, what we talked about is you as an individual, but you're going to join company now, and leadership is also in the company, in the corporate. So I want to touch a little bit on the corporate side. So in the corporate side, we talk about something called goals for the company. And this is where we talk about the pyramid. So when we talk about individual goals, the goal wheel. When we talk about the corporate, we'll talk about the pyramid. First of all, there's a distinction between individual goals and corporate goals. Individual goals mein kya hai? We set our own goals. We define, we shape it. Every birthday, we'll try to change it. We monitor, we track. But in company mein na, somebody else sets the goals. And the goals are not just for you, but it's also for your colleague, and it's also for your project. It's also for your department. That's the difference. Somebody else sets it, somebody else tracks it, you work for it. That's the big difference between goals here and there. But they're both the goals. So that's a very important distinction you should know. So this pyramid ka isme na, the top is where we'll put something like a vision. The company's vision is on the top. And then somewhere below that is the strategy. From the strategy comes the goals. So usually they call it vision, missions, strategy, and goals. And then down below, they have something like key success factors, key performance indicators. These are the words they use in the corporate. So if you actually think about this and look at, Google it as a goal pyramid at the corporates, you'll find better definitions and different definitions of it. But the idea is that companies have a vision for themselves. And vision ke andar, they have a mission, and then there is a set of objectives, and then goals which are very practical and down to earth. The vision is, let's say, the vision for an edtech company is everything is going digital. Education is going digital. Unka vision wo hai. That's what they see in the future. Uske liye, what they're doing is they're removing all the paper related stuff and putting everything in digital. Like banking is going digital. So what will they do? They'll help with all the paperwork and making it digital. That's one of the things they want to do. While doing it, they want to start with Hyderabad branches first. That's their strategic objective. In year 1, they'll do Hyderabad branches. Year 2, they'll take Karnataka branches. So like that. So that's how you take a vision, which is like a goal level. Goal, which is a vision level, and slowly trickle it down. That's what corporates do. And उसके लिए एक बंदा printer shop से काम करेगा, दूसरा बंदा is a coding person, third person is a person who is implementing it and training. So like that, the goals get set in thing. So this is something that you'll see in the corporate. Now in the corporate, the vision is something that is long term, and every company has some sort of vision and strategy. If you Google, you will find the vision and strategy for your own company. Now, these goals that they have in the company, they're not just for the company. They can also be for a project or a product or you or your department. So when you look at these things, I'll show you what they are. Yeah. So one of the actions I want you to do is, when you go back after this session, Google and say, what is the vision for TCS, Infosys, Wipro, Pizza Hut, Walmart, Amazon? Wo dekho, what is their vision? What is their strategy? What is their mission? If you just Google that, you'll start seeing some very interesting things, how they set themselves up. But what's interesting is, it's not just that part. I want you to start looking at how it trickles down to you. So you're part of a company. The way that links to you is they have something called JD, job description, and they have something called RD, role description. So the whole idea is they bring it down to your level, my level, and they call it job description and then role description. And that's how these things come down to your level and my level. So this right-hand side, I intentionally didn't want you to read this. I just wanted to show you that there are such documents. So if you go to your HR and then say, can you tell me what my job description is? They'll give you a document. And the document will tell you what you're supposed to do. So if you're ever stuck and confused, what is your job? Go look for the job description. मगर job description क्या है? It is a document that the HR will keep about your type of work. But आपका specific work जो है, that is called role description. Because there can be 3 accountants in the company, but one person may be looking at a treasury side, the other person might be looking at the accounts billables, and somebody else might be looking at something else. So roles may differ, but all their job description is they should know tally, they should be in the company, they should be doing 9 to 5, they should report to this Sharma ji. All this they can have. So the job descriptions may be same, but the role may be different. So that you look for those RDs and JDs, and slowly it will be very clear. It'll tell you who do you report to, how much you get paid for this, how much of your time you need to put in this. Like that, it'll come in. And uska title bhi rahega, job title, role title. So this is exactly how a company turns the sphere into a pyramid and makes it happen. And here is an example of some goal I found again. I mean, job description I found online for a team lead, I guess. And so again, you can find your own and you can look for this. But one thing I wanted you to understand is there is a difference between how we talked about individual goal setting and now we're talking about pyramid as a model for corporate goal setting and how corporate goals become your goals. So if you're at work now, you are told what to do. You're monitored on what you do. So you better go look at these documents and try to make sense out of what your goals are. Okay. And now, once your goals are clear and written, they'll measure you against it. They'll say, aapka performance kaisa hai? Year end mein, and between the year, they will review this. And aapka bonus, aapka appraisal, everything comes based on how you perform on these goals. That's the difference between corporate and individual. All right. So first I talked about why goals are important. Then I talked about individual goal wheel. Then I said corporate mein we have pyramid, right? So now we talk about execution. So iska point ye hai ki you want to make sure your goal is not just written, but it is actually materializing. It is actually happening. So that's what I'm calling execution. So in execution, first thing is put your goals in an Excel sheet and or make a wheel or a smart grid or something, but track them down, write it down. First thing is you have to have it written down. And if you don't have it written down, it's hard to say you have a goal. Then once you have it written down, you should start tracking it. So how do we track this? So first thing is you can put it in a Google Calendar. And then you can turn, like, for example, I want to develop singing. If you want to, like, for example, I had an interesting goal for myself. I wanted to be able to tell the raga in which certain bhajan is being sung. I wanted to have that raga gyan. So for me to develop that, I need to, I don't know, I need to learn some, Desh. How is Desh rag, Bhairavi? How does Bhairavi sound? So I need to get tuned to that. And for me, I don't have time to go to a tuition or something to get this done, or maybe I can't make time for it. So I have to pick up and do things to do it. So I have to have a reminder. This week, I want to listen to Shankaraban Rang, or I want to listen to, I don't know. So certain Yaman ka songs I want to listen to. So this whole week, I'll try to download some Yaman songs and start listening. So slowly my brain is getting into the pattern of what does Yaman look like. And then I'll start looking at next week, I should be listening to bhajans in Yaman and see if there is any puckad that I can get on the song. right? So when I'm doing this, I have to, I have to do through this discipline, right? So how do I do it? I put it in my calendar. Hey, listen to certain Yaman songs. So maybe I do that while I'm in the cab, or maybe I'm doing that when I'm, at lunchtime or something else. So I have to put some tools to help me do that. So that's what I mean by putting it in calendar, by putting it in phone with reminders. That's so one of the tools is put reminders for yourself, put it in the calendar, put it in the phone, and then make sure that at least once a day or once a week, you're doing something related to your goal. Something or the other. For every goal, you should touch it at least once a day, or once a day is too tight, maybe once a week. Kuch karna hai. Then a lot of people also use checklists. Checklist is another way of ensuring you're tracking your goals. So try to keep a checklist. Again, these are great ideas, but I'm not telling you ideas. I'm telling you what you should do. Meaning that एक book ले लो, book में लिख लो ये goal ऐसा checklist है, tick करो, tick करने के बाद ही आपको you'll know that you did it, right? Then have reminders. You are in a meeting, suddenly ding 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 ding. I should do 3 Gayatris because it's evening time. I want to do this. And then so go stand up, try to get a sip of water. Om Bhurvusva Tatsatvaranyam Bhargo Srimi Dhiyo Yo No Prachodayat. Om Bhurvusva Tatsatvaranyam Bhargo Srimi Dhiyo Yo No Prachodayat. Om Bhurvusva Tatsatvaranyam Bhargo Srimi Dhiyo Yo No Prachodayat. I've done 3 Gayatris just in the middle of the day without really disrupting too much of my life. And nobody needs to know that you're doing this sadhana. So you got to have little tricks and things that you do to better and shape yourself and link with all these things. The other trick that you can actually work with is have a goal buddy. For large goals, no? Get somebody who's really a friend or a person who's a well-wisher. In Sanskrit, they call them Shreyo Bhilashi. So somebody who wishes for your well-being, Shreyo Bhilashi. So you should find somebody who's your goal buddy, and then choose them as a goal buddy. Tell them they're your goal buddy, and they should force you to follow. Every now and then they should call you up. Hey, are you following this? You said you'll exercise. Are you exercising? Did you exercise today? Arey, jao, aaj jao. Then tomorrow you didn't go, they'll motivate you. Day after tomorrow, they'll come take you on your scooty and take you. So like that. So Sanjali says, I chant Om Namah Shiva today before my dance, fitness class, or do it when sitting in metro to go to work. It's been 3 days and I'm trying to maintain my streak. Yeah, I think that's perfect. I mean, thank you. So she was saying that, she's doing some chanting while she was in the metro or before her class. And, so many times I've seen people just doing this. They take the phone. Their life is revolving around this thing. Everybody and their friend is using this phone all the time, as if they're the most important person on the earth, and as if something is going to go wrong if they don't look at it. My point is simple, that life is not just about going through the mobile and scrolling through this. When everybody is scrolling through the mobile, just sit in the corner and then say, I feel like God right now, I want to spread love to all these people. So बैठ के मैं भगवान हूँ, सबके ऊपर मैं शांति दे रहा हूँ. I'm spreading love. That person is me in another body. That person is me in another body. Wow, Swami, you look good in the blue dress. Swami, you look nice in this. Swami, don't I look good? ऐसा बात कर लो आपसे आप. And look at how the world is alive around you. Look at how maybe, with Balvika's kids, we used to do this. We used to have Krishna week or something. During that time, anytime you see blue, think Krishna, Krishna. So anytime you see somebody in a blue saree or something, Krishna, 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 ऐसा जिधर भी blue है, Krishna सोचो. That's such a wonderful thing, yeah. And it need not be just adhyatmik, na? You will go crazy if you're just doing adhyatmik. If you're doing some HTML or something, uske baare mein, think of a website you can create, you can do something, some weird stuff you can do. Don't get stuck in this world of mobile phones and scrolls. Good job. Thanks, Sanjali, for telling us this. Challenges and hindrances, a lot of the times goal setting is clear, yeah. A lot of people set the goals, but following is the hardest part. And that's why goal buddies and reminders and checklists, these things will help you. Office में क्या है? They'll chase you because they're paying you. They'll make you do it. But घर पे क्या है? You have to do your own thing. But guess what? If you want to be a great person, person of character with a lot of good traits, it doesn't come automatically. उसके लिए थोड़ा साधना करना पड़ेगा. So that's what you have to do. I have just few minutes left, I think. Varun is there. I can see him on the screen. So I'm going to end with just a couple of more notes, slides. Is that, Varun, is that the message?
Sir, we need to close by 9 and we need to take a few questions also. It's up to you, sir.
Yeah, okay. I'll just go through a couple of slides and then I'll take questions. All right. So one of the things I wanted to tell you is that, in modern day, what happens is that we believe that we can set our own goals. Modern perspective is, you want to become a millionaire, all you have to do is set these goals, go after it, one after the other, achieve it. But adhyatmic thinking mein aisa nahi hoga. In our thinking, we think about virtuous goals. We have a dharma. We are living a blueprint. We are here for a purpose. It's not that, anything and everything we will do in life and suddenly if I want to be a millionaire, I'll become a millionaire. अरे वो हो सकता है, मगर आपका रोल है ना. You have here as a daughter, as a friend, as a wife, as a sister, you have a role. And वो role fulfill करना है आपको. There is a responsibility. Swami says people nowadays talk about rights. मेरा right ये है, मेरे को ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए. Entitlement, we call it nowadays in fancy English. But उसके पहले responsibility भी है. क्या आप रूम छोड़ के जाते वक्त आप फैन और लाइट को क्लोज करें कि नहीं? If you're not, what is this? You want to just consume all the world's electrical power and suddenly you want to, because what? You paid extra bill because you can pay 10 rupees extra, you want to just use up the power? There's a whole bunch of people who don't have power, yaar. Share with them, na? That means be responsible. Because you have too much water doesn't mean you throw away this, that. If you have food, don't do those things. You have a responsibility in this world. You are here for a purpose. You are here, you have to fulfill something. The great, beautiful Srimad Bhagavad Gita that's in front of us all the time, it says, Swami says, the first word of that Bhagavad Gita is mama, and the last word is dharma. And he says that encapsulates everything. He says, mama dharma, my responsibility. You are here with a purpose. Your goal should be, how do I fulfill my purpose in life here? That's what your goal setting is all about. So in that context, you should do, I am here for a purpose. As a mother, what do I do? As a sister, what do I do? Oops, I clicked the wrong one here someplace. Oh, goodness, where is my mouse? Sorry, guys, I lost my mouse. There. Are you able to still see my screen? Yeah, okay. So, So you have a duty, you have a responsibility, you have to fulfill that. Just don't write any goal you want. Write the goals that are virtuous and meaningful. See, अभी देखो इसमें ये slide में, I want to find a friend with whom I can go watch a movie. Yeah, you can write a goal. West says, modern thinking says, हाँ उसके ऊपर smart goal लिख लो, आ जाएगा आपको. But it is not about writing smart goal for something as stupid as that. You write first a good goal, then उसको smart बनाओ. That good goal is what we're calling virtuous goals. That virtuous goal is where you put the weight first. So it's not about find a friend who's also interested in going to movies. It's trying to figure out, why am I doing this? Is this why I'm here? Is this how I want to spend time? हाँ, correct भाई, मगर मेरे को भी थोड़ा chill करना है ना. I want to chillax a little bit. I want to, why should I go into all this spirituality 360, spirituality 3, spirituality.com all the time? थोड़ा मेरे को chill करना है ना, तो let me watch a movie. ठीक है, मगर don't do it all the time ना. Don't take some other friend and take their time with it. So maybe limit your unnecessary thing, maybe 10 minutes, maybe you put no scroll on your phone, maybe you put something else, download this thing. If you're a student, don't even put YouTube on these things, whatever, you download and set up, put 1 hour of quality watching and put a limit and do that. And that way you can control yourself. So that is what goal setting is all about. It's not just making things smart, it's also picking the right goal and trying to pick the virtuous goal. So you have roles and responsibilities. Pick the ones where you're supposed to take certain responsibilities, and then you're multi-threading, right? You're doing a whole bunch of things in parallel. You have to do all these things. So each ke liye you have to do. As a student, what am I supposed to do? As an employee, what I'm supposed to do? As a grandchild, son, daughter, what do I do? As a student, Swami, wants you to score well. So study. Don't just study and do homework, but do Google a little bit. ChatGPT se baat karo thoda. Seeko. Watch some coursework. Get some good grades. Make sure that if you're not getting good marks, that remember somebody is paying for this. And as an employee, Swami says, if you're getting 10 rupees, work 100 rupees worth of effort. So put in a lot of time and effort. And then that's what it is. You have to put in a lot of effort and a lot of time. Otherwise, things don't happen. And not just for yourself, for society, for work. I remember one time I asked myself, 12 baje, 1 baje, I was doing something for seva. And I was saying, Arey yaar, ye zarurat hai kya? Is it necessary for me to do it now? And suddenly a phone rings. And there was some Swamiji that came to our house and left. Some Swamiji, I met him at some wedding and I said, sir, aap ghar aaiye, thoda, we'll just have some satsang. I just offered some food and he came and left. But 1 o'clock or something like that, I was just thinking, itna zarurat hai kya? Mereko, should I be doing this much? Then suddenly the phone rings. And you know what he says? Is Swamiji calls me up and he says, yes, you should do. That's the first thing he said. I was surprised. I said, what are you saying? And he says, yes. And you know what he says? My Himalaya jaake, my practice kiya, sadhana kiya. And then I read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and other things. And he says, I came to the ashram now and I'm trying to teach Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And he says, nobody is coming to my discourse. But you are going to seva. You're doing seva. And when you're doing seva, it is you are helping somebody. And he said, yeah, this is a need. You are doing a better job by being in society as a grihastha and doing this, and better than me as a Swamiji who's sitting in some jap, dhyan and Bhagavad Gita, and I'm not able to do it. He said, you're doing it, do it. This is necessary, he said, and he hung up the phone. I thought it was such a shock, yaar. Raat bhar call karke he shocked me. But that's how it is, you got to do 100 times more work, 10x, 100x. Kar do. Take care of elders. Very big responsibility. We are growing older now, and we have to be less dependent, more responsible. So I'm going to stop here and tell you that adhyatmically we have a goal, but worldly we have goals also. And individually, design yourself. And corporate-wise, there are tools that set you this. The whole idea of today's session was to tell you that you can design and set yourself and follow these goals, execute them with checklists and methodical ways of doing this, and reminders and check buddies and other things. But at the end of the day, success can only come when you plan, when you put it together, design, and continuously pursue it. Then only it will come to you. So with that, I stop now, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I know there's so many things we can talk about. We could get into examples of goals, but ek ko fit hoga, dusro ko fit nahi hoga. And then, but I just wanted to give you the framework, the general idea, and I hope this appeals to you. Jai Sai Ram. And maybe we can take some questions if you like.
Sairam sir, thank you so much for such an insightful and wonderful session. So I request sisters to ask your question by raising your hand, or you can chat. You can send your message in chat box. Yeah, Sister Shri.
Yeah, sister, it is Sri Pragna, sister.
Sri, yeah, Pragna.
Yeah,
Please.
so yeah, Sairam sir. So your session was very valuable and very informative, both professionally and personally. So my question is, so like we all are brought up in such a way that we do not talk negative or ill about others. But in corporate world, like where you keep growing the corporate ladder, you have to face criticism for the things which you have not done. Like for example, if you have done a lot of work, but still you are told that you're not done good work. So even though we have given 100% for our role, for our level of experience, how much of our work we have done. So how do we overcome this? Because we were taught to be honest personally, and that is what we carry in the professional world as well. So how do you
Yeah.
um,
See, the thing is not how do you. I think you know how to do it. It's only thing is you don't think it's fair. You don't think it's fair to do it because when they are criticizing you, why should you do it? Or see, you know how to do honest work because you're saying I'm doing honest work. They're criticizing me. So the point is you keep doing your honest work. एक दो बार क्या होगा? You will not get credit for it. You will not be accepted. Somebody will criticize you, but it will not happen all your life. It will happen in your workplace where somebody will take advantage of it. And then after some time, it will correct itself. Because Swami is saying dharma is like a lamp. Actually, the Sanskrit sloka is dharmo dharmati rakshataha. That means the person who does dharma or follows dharma is protected by the dharma they do. So the example that Swami gives is, suppose there is a room and all the lights are off, and usme bed hai, table hai, ye pura hai, and when there is no light and it's night, you will bump into things. But what if you carry a lamp? He says the guy with the lamp can walk through this room without getting bumped because he's got the light. Same way, if the person who's living with values, the person who's doing these things, they are the ones who are actually getting protected. And I don't think you should worry about it at all. I think that one of the things that I found, and I don't think we have time for personal examples now, but I found that more than my competency in my subject, my reputation as an honest person, as a hardworking person, has gotten me better opportunities and quicker access to senior management responsibilities than my skill. But it may not have happened first time, but it took some time to develop that reputation, So I think it is very important that you live that value. There will be, Swami says, the tree that bears the mangoes is the one that's going to get the stones. So that is not, it's just an indicator that you're doing something right. So don't worry about all that stuff. I know it's tough, but aapka discipline aapka hai. So what? They don't listen to it. So what? They don't protect. कहाँ भी नहीं जाएगा भाई. आपका जो पैसा आना है, पैसा आपके पास आएगा. Credit जो आना है, आपको आएगा. It's just delayed. That's all. Maybe they'll come in a next birth and just to praise you, because they owe you so much gratitude and praise. Karma will just make sure that they'll have to deliver it. Nothing will go wasted. Don't worry about it. आपका जो करना है, आप करना है. उनका whatever they do, that's their business. Leave it. Don't worry.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Sister Akshata, please go ahead. Please keep the question in short.
Sure. Sairam, sir.
Sairam.
The session was too insightful. So my query is something related to this goal. So what happens? Sometimes opportunities may be delayed due to various factors, like such as health issues, or might can be age-related challenges. In such situations, what steps can we take to navigate these obstacles and still make the most of the opportunities that come on our way? So I wanted to know that.
Yeah. See, opportunity means that which you have now. If it is delay, that means that's not the opportunity. That means something got delayed. So what you have now is always the prasadam that God gave to you. What you're doing to it is always the offering that you're giving to God. तो एक दो बार क्या होगा, थोड़ा delay होने से you get frustrated. You think something is not going right, but don't worry about it. Just pray to it, and then something will happen. And I don't know how it happens, but sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And that is because we are not entitled to it. And we may want it, but it may not happen. Don't worry about it. See, you can aspire. I want to be a doctor. Magar nahi ho sakta. I can't be a doctor. And so, you have to pray. You have to do this because the thing is, 5 factors are involved. Swami says 5 factors are involved in making something successful. Kala, Karta, Kriya, Karana, Karma. Kala, Karta, Kriya, Karana, Karma. So if you just do action, that is not sufficient. Action that is timely, action that is in context, action that is in context, timely, and responsive to the ecosystem. All these things with the intention and with bountiful of karma, karmic positivity that you have in your previous life, all that will help you get something to success. So any one of those factors could actually not contribute. So there are so many things going on. Why worry about all these things? Just simply focus and then say, अरे भाई मेरे को ये करना है. अभी opportunity में क्या है? ये नहीं दिखाओ, दूसरा दिखाओ. उसको grab कर लो. कुछ, if the express bus didn't come, if the red bus came, take the red bus and go. Na, that's the opportunity you have.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir, in the interest of time, would you like to take one more question, or can we
Yeah, yeah.
proceed to put
I'm
off
okay.
time?
Yeah, I'm okay to take this.
Okay. Sister Sri Gayatri.
Sairam.
Hi, Ram.
Sairam, so this session was really good. And while listening to this session, I had a thought, vision boards, right? So, you said to write the goal, but does creating a vision board counts as writing a goal?
Well, what they're saying is vision boards and other things. I think I'm not so familiar with them, but what they're trying to tell you is that make it real in your mind and make your sankalpa strong. Vision board is using the eye to program your brain. There was once a person named Sharal Ram. He's actually an American, and he's a white American. And he was telling us something very interesting. We were visiting him in his farm, and he was building a big house for Swami by himself with his hand. In US, they build it with what do you call wood and other construction. No, so he was building, and then he was saying that one day, um, Swami came in his dream, and he said, "Do you want to know how I created the universe?" And then Swami was in a white lab coat, it seems, and he was working in a big chemistry lab. He was doing some kind of things. And then they said, "Oh, Swami, I want to know." And he said, "Do you want to know how to create?" Then he said, "Yeah, Swami, I want to know." Then he said, "See, first, what you have to do is whatever you want to create, na?" He said, "Think about it. First, think hard. Think about its physical attributes, chemical attributes, consistency, color, weight, all these things. Think hard and fast. Think about how sweet it is, how strong it is, how heavy it is, how light it is, and focus. And in lot of that depth of focus, ke baad, he says it materializes. So now what happens if Swami goes like this with his hand and he comes up with vibhuti? That means his power of thought is so strong that it becomes vibhuti immediately. And this man was telling me that I was reflecting on this point. Sharal was telling us, I was reflecting on this point that my thought is not so strong. That's why मेरा blueprint draw करना पड़ेगा मेरे को, एक wood को cut करना पड़ेगा, उसको erect करके उसको दीवार बनाना पड़ेगा, जब मेरे को एक beautiful house बनेगा, क्योंकि मेरा संकल्प उतना strong नहीं है. But he says Swami's sankalp is so strong, the thought becomes material creation. But he says our sankalp requires lot of effort to make it happen. Just now we learned how to make a good character personality through using goal wheel. And it takes effort. Same way, the vision boards and other things are trying to tell you that sankalp ko strong kar lo. And then they will materialize. In some sense, their saying is correct. But in some sense, usko आपका purity नहीं है तो उसको time लगेगा. So वो that time and effort you put in is called sadhana. So you put your sadhana, your effort, and sometimes your intentions are so pure, so good, you cleanse yourself so well that sometimes when you think good thoughts, na, they do happen. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they do. That means your sankalpa is getting good. And that's how you should develop that and make it strong.
Sairam, sir. Thank you very much.
Ram, thank you. Thanks a lot, sir, for taking out the question and answers. In the interest of time, I request all the sisters to ask your questions on the LMS portal. So we will move forward. First of all, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Swami for giving this beautiful opportunity for attending this today's session and listen to Dr. Sai Gollapudi sir. Sir, we are grateful to you for sharing your deep knowledge and impactful experiences. Sir has started with setting up the goal, like why we should have a goal in life. So we should have a goal in order to have a direction and to have a focus where you want to achieve. Sir also spoke about we should write down the goals by using SMART techniques. He also said it is not enough, if we just write down the goal, we have to achieve them by practicing, by, committing it every day. And also we have to track the goals, whatever we have written on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, by using different tools. Sir suggested some of the tools like Google Calendar, we should have a buddy, and we should have a checklist. So, sir, we are very, grateful to you for sharing such a, example. And I'm sure, each of the, if we use these techniques, whatever sir has told us, it will help each participants to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually, if we practice them every day. Also, sisters, whatever sir techniques, examples given in the session, it will be useful, while drafting the goals, for our project work, which we are going to start soon. So it will help in breaking down the goals while defining the goal setting. So once again, thank you so much, sir, for taking out your time and rendering such a beautiful session. Thanks a lot, sir, once again. Now let's move on. I want to express my sincere gratitude to our NLP conveners, Gopi uncle and Varma uncle, for their continuous motivation and guidance. And also a big thanks to all the NLP organizing team for their continuous support. Last but not the least, I thank each and every participant for actively participating, and we appreciate your efforts for attending the session regularly. So before we end the session, there are some couple of announcements needs to be made. First is link for feedback, quiz and Q&A will be opening tomorrow morning 9:30 on LMS portal, and it will close by Wednesday. I'll repeat, the link for quiz, Q&A and feedback will open tomorrow morning 9:30. It will close by Wednesday night. Second, there are some post session activities which you all need to complete. So it will again open tomorrow morning at 9:30, and it will close on 21st June, that is next Saturday. So with this, we will end the session with Shanti Mantram. Jai Sai Ram to all. Thank you so much. Now over to Varun brother. Sai Ram.
समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय
जय
जय जय श्री साई राम।